All right, welcome everyone. So this is Do NASA Science Live, the planning webinar, preparing for our first of the events and the rest of them through this first year or through the year. So we are going to be talking from the SciStarter end, and also we have a special guest with us, Sarah, who I will let her introduce herself as well, and we'll have her talk a little bit later about what the solar system ambassadors are. But before we do that, just a general, hi, I'm Emma. I'm the Director of Operations and Programs for SciStarter. I joined also by Darlene, who's named SciStarter. Oops.
Yeah. Hi, I'm SciStarter. I'm Darlene, founder of SciStarter and a professor of practice at Arizona State University. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. And Sarah, do you want to give a brief hello?
Sure, making sure I wasn't muted. My name is Sarah Marcotte. I am based in Pasadena, California at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and I am the coordinator of NASA's Solar System Ambassador Volunteer Program.
Awesome. And we're so glad to have you here. And I'm excited to be adding your logo on everything. It's so cute.
Isn't
All
it
right, so
cute?
today we're going to be talking about quite a few things. So we'll be giving an overview for anyone who is relatively new to citizen science, especially, and how NASA citizen science folds into that. We'll be talking about the actual program that we're planning for, which is Do NASA Science Live, the role of you all as ambassadors, as librarians, as museums, and whatnot, and the resources we will provide to you, including availability of funding. And then we'll also end the content section with some information about the connections to Citizen Science Month. If you're already familiar with that, I did recognize quite a few names who should be familiar, and America 250 before we close out with next steps for you, as well as any questions you might have. Feel free also to drop any questions in the chat as we're talking. If it's relevant and we can add in your answer as we go, we're happy to do so. All right, make sure. Okay, so citizen science. So for any of you who are unfamiliar with the concept of citizen science, we're super excited to have you here and to bring you into the fold. It is a global movement. You're not alone. This is global. It's very much international. There are so many different organizations doing citizen science. And it essentially is a movement that enables people from all walks of life to contribute to real science research in collaboration with scientists. So instead of being the person researched, for example, like in medical data, you are a part of the collaboration. You are a partner on the team. And you can do this from any time and anywhere for many, many projects. So if you've heard of participatory research, community science, neighborhood science, civic science, crowdsourcing, all of those below are terms that are often used associated with citizen science. We generally use citizen science, but we go by all of those. So use what makes sense for your community. So why are we here specifically? So SciStarter, myself, Darlene, and then Roland as well, who's in the chat helping you out if there's any technical issues. We are part of SciStarter, which aims to be a global hub of citizen science for people who are new to it, veterans of citizen science, and those looking to explore how to get more people involved in citizen science, to be those ambassadors, to bring people in. So we provide free accounts to volunteers and institutions to enable the finding of projects and also participation. And then we work on tools and trainings and facilitation resources for all of you who bring all this to your communities. Awesome. All right. And if you don't already, I highly recommend that you go onto SciStarter right now and create a free account just so you are up to date on everything. We'll be talking a little bit more about prerequisites to apply to be or to be a part of the satellite hosting program of Do NASA Science Live. And Roland has dropped that link in the chat for us. Great. All right. I'm going to pass it on to Darlene to talk a little bit more about NASA specific citizen science, and then we'll keep moving.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Again, nice to see you. Thanks for all the comments. Keep them coming in there because we answer them in real time, as you see. NASA, if you're not familiar with it yet, obviously you're familiar with NASA, but maybe you didn't know that they actually support citizen science projects. I think they have 36 active right now. Really incredible projects, wide diversity in terms of the fields and in terms of the types of tasks that volunteers are asked to do. This NASA website that's on the screen right here, great resource for you to check out. They have published papers, they have communities that are there. So our job at SciStarter and Sarah's job with the NASA Solar System Ambassadors is to help connect more people to things that NASA is doing. And next slide, we're going to look at some ways that we're doing that. This is Do NASA Science Live. Some of you, I recognize the names, have been very active in our past iterations of Do NASA Science Live. In the past, These were virtual events that we, being SciStarter, would produce. We would have a NASA scientist who leads one of these projects join us online. We would have some community partners. We've had veterans groups join us. We've had lifelong learning institutes join us. We've had Girl Scouts join us. It's been amazing. And that scientist talks through the goals, the scientific goals of his or her project, describes how to get involved in the project, and we do the project together. What we're adding this year, starting with our December 11th first Do NASA Science Live event moving forward, is we're looking to work with libraries, museums, the Ambassador Network to host in-person versions of those virtual events. And why would we do this? We do this because we know that addresses one known important barrier to sustain engagement in participatory research, citizen science crowdsourcing. And that is for all the talk about it being part of a community, which you are, it can feel very socially isolating for people because many times you're on your own doing these projects. And the libraries are just so well situated to be those safe community free spaces for people to come together. Obviously, they provide, in many cases, access to Wi-Fi, sometimes access to devices that are needed, but certainly that sense of community. They can tap into affinity groups. They can help reach new audiences. They can provide follow-on activities and the fun of it. So we love working with librarians. This program will support some librarians in hosting these in-person, we call them kind of satellite events. You're live streaming the satellite event with people who are at your library. And for those libraries who they don't get much benefit from that because maybe only 2 or 3 people show up, you play a very important role in helping to disseminate information, kind of that passive programming, letting people who come into your library or read your newsletters know that these opportunities exist for them to get involved in virtually. So people can join from anywhere, or they can get together in these satellite events to join us. The role of the SciStarter ambassadors. Hello to all of the SciStarter ambassadors and champions that are out there. We have in a couple of weeks some very exciting news about the growth of that program. You've already done some of the required trainings. We'll talk about those later. They're free, they're self-guided, they're online, they're ready for you to do. That's awesome. You are mostly prepared to either organize an event at your local library or museum or even a coffee shop, or support a local library who might need your help. Lastly, if there are no events happening near you, we appreciate the help for you joining these virtual versions of the event. And we have plenty of roles for you to play there. And we'll go over all that with you at a different event, but basically online, helping Roland, helping Emma, helping me with the chat. We're looking at some of the comments and the questions coming in through social media, actively engaging in these projects. You play an important role. What is really exciting now is that we have our partner, Sarah, who's going to tell us more about the NASA Solar System Ambassadors and what that organization is, what they do, and then the role that they're playing with us. And I'll help you with that last part, Sarah, because I know this is brand new for you too and for us, but if you will just give an overview of what your program does.
Certainly. So nice to see everyone here. And I recognize plenty of names in the chat. And I even did a little business with someone in the chat where I said, oh, I sent that thing to you. So sorry about that. So the Solar System Ambassador Program has been running for 25 years. So our program got its start when the Galileo mission was going off to Jupiter, and a local teacher in New Hampshire thought, boy, you should have some volunteers out in the community to talk about what this NASA mission is doing. And so the program grew from there. And so it's a self-selected group of people. We have about 1,240 people across the United States. We're in every state in the Union, and we have plenty of people that also do programs internationally. These are NASA superfans. They may work in a planetarium or a museum. They may be retired. They may be a teacher. Many are librarians. So the thing that unites them is they love STEM, they love NASA, they love volunteering their time, they love putting telescopes out on sidewalks and encouraging people to look at the sky. They love to do craft activities in a library, and I'm hoping they will love to be doing citizen science as part of this program. So this is a natural fit for our two organizations to come together, and for the NASA Solar System Ambassadors. Sorry, it's a little repetitive. We all have ambassador in our name, but to join the SciStarter ambassadors to bring citizen science to everyone. I mean, I think it's going to be a great fit and really hoping to ramp up the participation among my volunteers. So I have started getting it out in my weekly newsletter, and we'll continue to advertise it and encourage my people to get involved.
I love it. Thank you, Sarah. So you can see how these systems are coming together, these networks are coming together, how we're trying to kind of leverage each other's networks, talents, goodwill. Jim, I see already is interested in becoming a NASA Solar Ambassador. Sarah, if you're opening that to new volunteers, can you drop a line or let us know how we can help people connect with that?
Yeah, I will put just a link to our website in the chat. We open our applications in the fall, so it would be fall of 2026, and I'll pop the website in the chat.
That's great.
But I'll put on my glasses first.
Yeah, that sounds good. And note that this is intended to be a 3-year program. So our current solar ambassadors, current current and new SciStarter ambassadors are eligible to join this program. And then, as you just heard, Sarah, next fall, a new round of applications will be open if you would like to become a NASA Solar Ambassador. So let's see. Emma, do you want to jump in and talk about Do NASA Science Live and how this kind of comes together here?
Yeah, absolutely. I am really excited too because our previous partnership with NASA on the Do NASA Science Live of the past, the way it's evolved into this, I'm very excited because I think it'll mean a lot more people getting to be involved and a lot of really active engagement where it'll be very high energy. So looking forward to it. So this information has been on there for a while, so I won't spend too much time, but I did want to spotlight a little bit at the very bottom there. We want to include the whole community, but we do want to recommend that it's for ages 13 and up, just for ease of participation too. And we'll get deeper into that too as when we get closer to the event date as well, of each of these events, I should say. All right, so why would you do it? Why on earth would you sign up for more work here? So we want to help you connect to your community directly with NASA scientists, and that's what we intend to do. So these are opportunities to do simple, high-impact STEM programming, bringing people in the room. You can do guided practice together, and really make it a community experience. It also is legitimately accelerating the scientific research of the project that is chosen, and it's advancing your local STEM learning. So you get to learn the protocols of the project that we're participating in, and the scientist gets all that data in real time, and will hopefully be able to tell us what impact it makes during that exact hour. I saw a question in the chat about the age thing. So this is not for middle school. Middle school is likely fine. We just warn 13 just because 13 is like the limit for having your own accounts. So it'd be like a family account if they're younger. And then with younger ones, it does just get a little bit tougher for them to do the active research. Depending on the project, though, some are very easy.
Yes, and I just want to remind Emma, that's a great point. Also, just as a reminder, this is different than a more typical STEM education program. People learn in the process, but really this is active research. So that's another reason why we kind of either have it older or make sure that there are adults there to help guide because we want the data to be good. Thank you.
Totally. Yeah, instead of just looking at telescope images, you get to actually go and scan and mark out where you see a potential galaxy, for example. It's a little bit higher intensity. Awesome. And we will have ready-made facilitation and promotional resources. We're trying to make this as turnkey and easy to tap into as possible for you. We're going to be in many places with the help of you. It's going to be for one purpose for these events, all acts that advance NASA science across the country, which will be really amazing to see. And the best part, there's no prior experience needed. So you don't need to be an expert on any of these topics. If you do have some kind of expertise on these topics, that's a great addition, but is absolutely not required. That's why we have the live stream that we'll be having you tap into for your community. So we'll do that heavy lifting for you. All you'll need to do is tell us that you're going to be a part of it to do your own satellite event, or you're going to help a host do the satellite event. You'll invite your community, prepare the devices, or at least warn everyone to bring their own devices. We'll get deeper into like logistics at a different time. But you can also add your own creative flair. Maybe that is that you really love a certain demonstration of science that relates to the project. Who knows? That is definitely up to you. All right. So what is all this? When is all this happening? We mentioned December 11th. That is coming up really soon. So it's almost like our trial run, but it is legitimate. We want people to be there and hosting satellite events. And so we're looking for you all to join. Whether or not you can do your own hosting of a satellite event, that's okay. We still want you to tune in too. So I left the registration link on the screen for you to sign up now for that, so you don't have to worry about it later. The rest of the dates are as follows. We're going to do one in February, on February 11th, which is a Wednesday, and then on April 2nd and April 29th. April 2nd, I believe, is a Thursday, might be a Wednesday, and then April 29th, which is a Wednesday. And so for all those events, these are all related, or these are all connected to NASA-specific citizen science. And then, oh, good follow-up question for that. Will all these events be different projects? Yes. So December 11th will be a different project from all the other dates. April 2nd and April 29th have two sessions during that day. That'll be the same project for the two sessions. So in the morning or in the afternoon on April 2nd will be a project. That same project will come back for the second session later in the day. Yeah. So per day is the different project. Awesome. And then note too, for all of you who are more familiar with the Citizen Science Month aspect of this, which is April, those two April dates are a part of the Access Science Connected program that you likely have already heard about from us at SciStarter. So I'll have another reference point for that later in case there is any questions about that as well. All right. Cool. Okay, so
Let me just add, Emma,
yeah.
just in real time, you may be a SciStarter ambassador. Next fall, NASA Solar Ambassadors will reopen their application. Thanks.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So there is one distinction I want to make here because many of you are solar system ambassadors, many of you are SciStarter ambassadors. Those of you who are SciStarter ambassadors, you have done most of the prerequisites because you are a SciStarter ambassador. You've done the trainings that we required and the conversations we've had prior to becoming an ambassador. So I just want to note that here because if you feel like you can check off things on the list but you're not sure, you're likely correct if you are a SciStarter ambassador. So for one, um, if you have a SciStar account, that's one step done. And if you are an ambassador, you definitely have a SciStar account. You all have taken the Foundations of Citizen Science training and earned the badge on SciStarter if you're an ambassador for SciStarter. If you are a solar system ambassador, you may have already done this too because you heard about this a few weeks ago. However, if you haven't yet, this is one of the next steps. So the Foundations training. The SciStarter Ambassador Training module is also very, very beneficial, so we are adding that as a prerequisite to understand facilitation of citizen science to the public and earning the champion certificate. The SciStarter ambassadors went the extra step and also applied when the applications were open to become certified SciStarter ambassadors as opposed to champions. For all of you who are solar system ambassadors, all you are required to do is have the champion certificate. You don't need to go through an application process with us. Um, this is a little bit of a sticking point, so I want to make sure we cover questions about that. So please feel free to reach out about that if there are questions. We have such similar names and jobs, and I think we want to make sure we're not confusing anyone. All right, next on the list, to be familiar with NASA Citizen Science, we very much recommend going back in time to our SciStar YouTube channel that has Do NASA Science Live from previous years. We have some suggestions, and in the follow-up email, we can suggest a particular one to you to review as your example. Note that these are different events this year because we are focusing on one event or one project, excuse me, one project per event. Past years, we did multiple projects per event, and they looked a little bit different for participation. So up to you on which one you want to watch, but we'll give you a suggestion. And then you're doing one of the requirements right now. So you're attending a planning webinar, which is a big deal. We want to make sure you all are prepared and have an opportunity to answer questions that you might have. And if you're watching the recording, good job. You also check the box. And then lastly, to prove that you're actually a part of it, you are going to register for one of the events. And if you are planning to be a satellite host, you're also going to share your location of the satellite event. We are going to create this really lovely map that'll show how widespread all these events are, and we want to make sure that that's very visible to people when they come to the website so they know how much of a connected network this is, that they're a part of a bigger picture and a part of something that really matters with NASA. I'll pause there in case there's anything we want to add, Darlene or Sarah.
No, I know this is confusing right now with all the ambassadors.
All the names, we'll figure it out.
The terminology. I think it's really important to know, though, to be part of this, you do need to do the two trainings. Those are self-guided, just finish those. That's really to help you as volunteers, whether you're a librarian or you're a volunteer at a library or a museum, or you're somebody who wants to just kind of have the vocabulary and the experience and confidence ready to help introduce these programs to people who are brand new to citizen science. You do not need to become a certified ambassador of SciStarter, and that's a different terminology. Some of you I see here are. That's great. That's a whole different level. That's a lot more work. Background checks involved in that, specialized training, a lot more. Those applications are closed for right now. They'll reopen next year. You don't have to do all that to become part of this. That's the part. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, very helpful. And there are some questions in the chat that I just make sure you're checking the chat because I did respond to a couple. One note too for the events, we do have the event dates and times available for these. And I'll show you on the scistarter.org/NASA live website where you can find those momentarily. But just as an FYI, the December 11th one, for example, is at 6:30 to 7:30, just 1 hour. The ones in April will run 2 hours long because it's a significantly bigger event series. Okay, let me skip forward again. All right. So what do we need from you all, aside from the requirements or the prerequisites that we asked you to do? Your role could be multiple things. We very much want on-site hosts to help people in real time, in person, with guiding them through the event that we're on Zoom for. So folks, as Darlene mentioned before, you can join these from home just as an independent person, and that's great too. But for the folks who are joining in a group, when people are joining in a group, that means that they might have questions about the sign-up process, the participating in the project. They want to ask a question to Q&A, and so you need to facilitate that. We are looking for ambassadors to take on that role of being a leader so that we can make sure these are very smooth live stream events. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do on-site support. If it is a challenge to get into that scenario and be able to host a room, that's totally okay. We are looking for folks to be able to help us and as an official ambassador event to be a guest moderator and an expert on the sidelines to help us facilitate the online event. So that would be like chat monitoring, answering questions, Q&A support, stoking conversation in the chat if we're asking questions and we need to make sure we're pulling this information from folks like how do you feel about the project? Who knows? So it'll evolve as we get there, but we think you are all the perfect folks to be part of it. Okay, just checking by a note in the chat. Certificate. Oh, Kara, we can talk to you later about that because I think that might require us talking a little bit more. Awesome. Okay. And then it boils down to we want your help in inspiring discovery and engaging your communities. All right. So what does it look like? I hope we've given you a little bit more of a picture now that we've been talking for 26 minutes, but I'll give you a little bit more specificity. We expect that you might want to have your own spin to this. So if you host your own event, you are free to do what you would like in terms of icebreakers and ways to engage before we get started in the live stream. So that arrival and setup, all that's really needed is we need to make sure that you're connected to Zoom and can do like a sound check. And you are welcoming your guests into the space and you're allowing them to have devices of their own or supplying them for them to participate. And then optionally, we also recommend if you want to facilitate Q&A, sticky notes or post-its are really nice to be able to pass out so folks can hand those up, but you can explore your own versions of facilitation as well. All right, when the event actually starts, so that would be when we hit the go button on the live stream like we did for this webinar, we will orient the viewers. So the SciStarter team will do the production of the event alongside the project scientists. So we'll introduce those folks as well. And then we'll pass it along to the project scientist to give us an understanding, a description of what's the project, why it exists, what are the research goals, and how we can actually participate and help them do their research. So we'll be participating together after that, once we have a good understanding and guided practice together. So no one's going to be sent, okay, go and do this project, good luck. We'll do it together, lots of examples. You can keep going or you can literally just do it alongside us on the screen. That's up to you. And then you can keep asking Q&A throughout. So these are generally pretty interactive events and we like to have natural correspondence. And so as questions come up and are put into the Q&A or chat during those live streams, we'll we'll check on them and discuss them as we move forward. And then as a wrap up, this would include what our impact is. If we can define what the impact is in that moment, that's awesome. If we can't in that moment, we will after. And then SciStarter, we will close out the call at the end. And then we have resources for you. So we'll be giving you information on takeaways that you can provide to the guests who are at your event so that you can sustain their engagement and learn how to invite them back for the next one. Or at least let them know when the next one is so they can join us online. All right, I do see quite a few questions in the chat, so I'm going to pause so we can come back. Participants need to have separate devices during. Yeah, so we'll get a little deeper into logistics later, but just as a general rule of thumb, for an individual to participate, mobile phones somewhat work. It's a little bit tougher in general, but having laptops, desktops, a computer lab, some tablets available is really helpful. And if that's not available at your location, you can always encourage folks to bring their materials. If they don't have it, they'll just be watching, which is totally fine, and they can participate later. So it's not the end of the world if there aren't devices, but it is really helpful to make sure we can make the absolute most of the program. Oh, and I saw the response to that. Great. I feel like I missed another question. Darlene, do you want to call out anything else?
Oh, sure. There's great questions in here, mostly about the differences between the different types of ambassadors and what's available
Oh,
now. But that issue about the device, that is a good question. It's more helpful if they have a phone, a lap, as Emma was just describing, mainly so they can actively engage in the project. That's the goal of these programs, is to have everybody do the same exact project at the same time. If you have a large screen display there that is showing the different Zoom rooms, you'll actually be able to see all the other libraries and events that are zoomed in to that event, which is neat for the project scientist because he'll answer the questions from the people that are at your event. So you'll actually be able to talk to that NASA scientist live, questions about the projects, even technical questions. That's actually very helpful. So if you're thinking about becoming an ambassador to help with the digital part and you don't have an event near you, it's really helpful for that project scientist to hear your feedback, things you might even be confused about, because they take that into consideration in refining and improving the design of their project. So it helps everybody to be involved. Yes, we
I
will, Sally. Go ahead, Emma. Do you want to answer that?
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to note there were quite a few questions about the when and where. So the link we'll send you in the follow-up, by the way, is to the NASA Live page. You can go to it now if you would like. It's scistarter.org/NASA-live. Roland, could you drop that in the chat too? There's a tab for events that has all the upcoming events. There's no image yet, but it'll be there soon. But that has all of them through April, and you can register for every single one of them if you wanted to do that right now. But there's no rush for the later ones, of course.
Yes, and to answer this question coming in about which projects, that is right now, the NASA scientists are filling out a poll. Do they want to be part of this? Are they available? Which data are they available for? Can their project be done in real time? So I don't think it'll be more than a week when we know which projects are going to be featured for each of these 4 events. There will also be, as that website, the NASA Live website. It is good to bookmark that because that's where Roland puts all 36 of the projects. And as they are finished their research and they have a new one, boom, he puts it right back up again. And there he uses categories there. They link to more information about the projects. The featured projects for the Do NASA Science Live events will always be at the top. So once we know what those 4 are, they're going to be right at the top there. And they will include any specialized instructions. We're really looking for projects that can be done regardless of the device type and that don't
Mhm.
require specialized instruments other than a computer, or a phone. But we will definitely make that clear if it's only for, an iOS system and so forth. But typically these are wide ranging and of very broad appeal.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to move on from this page because it looks like we're in the clear there.
Yep. And I want to add just one thing. We also will provide takeaways, so printable information. You're probably getting to that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I just mentioned it, but we don't have images of them yet because we're still building them. But this is the opposite end, before the event, the materials. So both. So I kind of skipped ahead, but we can come back.
And Kenneth's question, if you just want to register for the event and participate from anywhere, because you want to see that is what the December 11th event is for. That's why it might feel a little last minute to you. We did not want to wait just because of the government shutdown. We didn't want to wait to kind of build on the momentum that our team had, that our discussions with Sarah had, that we know the ambassadors have. So if you're unsure, I think that's a great idea to register in the Zoom link. Maybe Roland could put it up one more time for the December 11th event. Don't worry that we don't know what the project is yet. It will be something that you can do. I would register for that, and you can get a sense of what that's like, what the virtual experience is like there. And you can definitely register for that without hosting an event. We are opening up, though, the process to, if you want to host an event and give it a shot in December 11th, we're going to support you. And Emma will talk us through the materials, some mini grants that are available for that too. Thank you.
Yeah, so we do have materials. We'll be supporting like a sandwich the before the event and the after the event, and we are a big part of the during the event, right? So we do have print ready posters already available. Yes, Roland just dropped the marketing kit into the chat if you'd like to check it out. Right now, it's a set of posters, and there's some that also apply to the Access Science Connected project. So just keep an eye on what you're looking at. And if you're familiar with Canva, we have templates that are fully customizable. So you can grab the document that links to Canva, or the document that has the links to Canva and go wild with it. If you need any support with developing or downloading the right poster, you can always reach out to us as well. We'll make sure that you leave with our email in hand, and we'll follow up with you as well. So this is an example of one of the posters. This is one of the one of the April ones. 2026 is America's 250th birthday of sorts. And so we have the America 250 logo because SciStarter is an official partner of America 250. So if you would like to include that, or you do or do not, whatever, we have multiple options. And before 2026, for December, there is a poster without that logo as well.
Yeah,
So
we do
yeah.
encourage that you use that one for America 250, because it's just a fun way if you're looking for a way to get your library involved in America 250. It's a pretty simple way. It also, the reason why we're a partner there is America 250 has a goal of trying to calculate all the volunteerism that happens in America. It does make America awesome. And so our goal during April of 2026, April is Citizen Science Month. We have a collective goal of 2.50 million acts of science that will take place in April. These two NASA events count towards that. So you're feeding a lot of birds with one scone by getting involved in April too. And so this is one example, as Emma was mentioning, of I think really beautiful posters that are just ready. I think they're 11 by 17, ready to be printed up and hung up in your library. And you would have, can I explain something with this one, Emma? Because I think this might be a little, require a little bit of information here. You can post these just to let people know they can join from anywhere. Or these are designed so that you can drop in your specific information. So how do people register for your event that you're hosting? You would register for the Zoom so that you can access that and live stream it to your guests. But your registration on these posters would probably be different if you're not encouraging people to join from home. You want them to come to your event. So there's space left here. We have the details and the time because they all have to take place about the same time. But you would have your own registration information, whatever that protocol is. Go to the reference desk and sign up. Go to our library's news, website and sign up, or whatever it might be. Email so and so to sign up for the event. That way you can plan accordingly and make sure that you're managing the number of guests that show up too. Thank you.
Yeah. In Canva, it is exceedingly easy to drop your materials in there too. So if you need any support using that, please let us know. And the printable ones, I'll double check, but I think they're just, you can print them and it just excludes that section. And you can always paste things on top within the various ways you choose to do editing that way. We also have a Satellite Host mini guide that was also dropped in the chat by Roland. It's very short. It's a slide deck, Google Slides, where it just gives a little bit of background and basics, some tips as far as what we would encourage you to do before before doing a satellite event, and then a sample program agenda. So this is like our idea of what the flow would be, and you can make adjustments as needed. And the links to the marketing toolkit will be included in there, or are, excuse me, are included in there, and the takeaways will be included in there once the link is available to you. Um, oh, okay. Bye, Sarah. Sorry. Saw that message and I
Not
realized
gone
it was
yet,
you.
but a
Thanks
few
for
minutes.
hanging out. Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right, now to the money part, the fun part. We are really, really excited because we are approved to also provide mini grants to a group of facilitators each time, which is a really big deal. We want to always be able to support actual events. And so we will be able to select 20 partners, which would be a library location, museum, et cetera, a community partner to receive $500 to host a satellite event. So you'd be streaming a Do NASA Science Live specific event into your community at your location. And we'll be asking you to do the same thing. It's the providing the space, just being a satellite host, on-site facilitation, making sure there's devices available. But it's for any of the events between the December 11th event for Do NASA Science Live and the April 29th Do NASA Science Live event. There will hopefully be many more, but this specific grant cycle is for those events. So you can apply. You'll only receive it once if you're the accepted or the accepted applications. And so just know that you can also you can be a part of multiple satellite events. You don't have to use it all on one event. You can do multiple and spread the love if possible. Uh, okay, I'm gonna pause there because there's a lot more information on the next page about this. So we will be providing those $500 mini grants. They will qualify for materials, so that's like promotional printing and such, food, supplies that you need to actually get this event going in your location, for example, a library. You'll have access to additional planning webinars, just like everyone else who wants to be a satellite host, but a little bit stronger attention from us probably to make sure that you are on a good pathway. Professional development via the NASA Solar System Ambassadors, the SciStarter Ambassadors, and or the Citizen and Community Science Library Network. So it's an all hands on deck situation to make sure this program is very successful. And then we will also be pushing to have you connect your community with NASA science, which is the goal throughout. Now, as a part of this, in order to qualify for earning or receiving the mini grant, there's of course those prerequisites I added at the very start of the hour. We do encourage the watching a Do NASA Science Live event as a part of it to show that you are familiar with the concepts. And then hosting one or more events. As I mentioned, it doesn't have to be spent on all one event. It can be spread on multiple if you'd like, but it's only one mini grant per location. And then we expect you to plan and promote your events. So the events need to be added to SciStarter through our event database. And then we will need your reporting of attendance and engagement in whatever metrics we can receive. So we'll be providing more information about that as it gets closer, and when we start approving applicants as well. All right. For the April event specifically, there's a little bit of a higher ask just because it is during Citizen Science Month, so we need more data, but it should not be overwhelming. It's reporting acts of science, which is an estimate of the attendance and the acts of contributions to the citizen science projects, and then participating through social media to share a photo with our hashtag to make sure we can spread the news. Okay. I'm going to pause here. Anything you'd like to add about this? The deadline's on the next page. Okay. So the deadline for this, oh, sorry, you unmuted. Go for it.
I was just going to say that not to get ahead of StarNet, but StarNet, if you're part of StarNet's library network, they have an email going out. And the nice thing is being part of Acts of Science Connected that Emma was just describing, those are the events that take place in April, two of which are Do NASA Science Live, actually counts towards a program that they're running. So just be aware of that. There may be additional funding opportunities from StarNet. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, there's so many ways we can kind of double dip. It's like a big April is in particular is just double dipping as much as humanly possible. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on the grant expectations document just so you can see what that looks like. Here we go. Oh, and I see a bunch of you there with me. Hello. So this is a document just to give you the basics.
Okay.
It includes a
All right.
lot.
We see a note from Misty. somehow the form for the mini grant is in edit mode.
I thought I fixed that. Oh no. The f Okay, exit out. The one that Roland just sent should send you to the one that's not editable. There might have been one. Oh, you know what? It's probably in this form. Misty, is it in here?
People are editing it. So,
The
hey,
grant or the form or the this document?
mini grant form. I'm not sure which one, Misty. Do you know which one?
The
I would,
forms. That's the application.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I fixed that on the. It should be fixed, honestly. So I'm not sure how you where you got the link from. Let's figure that out. Yeah.
Misty, where did you get that link from? Is it here in chat?
Okay.
Yeah.
The only link you should use is the one I'm dropping into the chat right now. We are all good people, so please do not edit our materials. If I could actually copy it.
And Roland, just make a note that the link that Emma is putting in now is the only one to share in chat. So when we share out the chat, we should not use that. And when we get back to everybody who registered and send them links, it's got to be the right link. Thank you, Misty.
Oh, I think I know where it came from too, so that's good. I can remove it. Okay, thank you, Misty, for the heads up. That is a big deal. Okay, great. So aside from the form being in existence and accessible, but hopefully not too accessible for much longer, this is the form, or this is the document that'll tell you a lot more about what we just talked about. So it has the basics of what Do NASA Science Live is, so you can share it with others too if you want to share it with anyone else who might want to do satellite hosting. We have all the dates and times listed here, including the two separate times for the April events as well. So if you want to have a quick look at those, you can here. It's also on the NASA-Live website. All right. What participants will experience is included just to give you a better idea of like how to communicate this. And then the important parts of expectations and benefits are on that last. Oh, I bet it's this. Yep, this is the one. Don't use that. Found it. Okay. And then I'll change that and you'll be good to go.
Great.
Except not, so I'll wait for Roland to do that while I'm busy.
And I just want to get to Sherry's comment about the library being closed. Note that in April in particular, those events are across all time zones. Um, it's going to be very busy for that project scientist, whoever the lucky project scientist in April. I think it's 3 events across afternoon, evening, so everybody gets a slice of the pie. So you should be able to find something. Yeah, good point, Misty. Check your library. I did not realize that until we did a survey with some libraries about the times. I think I mentioned before that I definitely would have guessed wrong. I thought all of these would take place on Saturday afternoon, and it turns out, especially in April, libraries really compete with kids' sports or even just nice weather. People don't want to be cooped up inside. And to reach more of the senior population, afternoons around 2 or 3 are desirable. And you can imagine different time zones, that means different things. And then for working people after, 6 to 8, there are evening programs in some of the libraries. Yes. But Sherry, look at April because I believe there are afternoon options for April NASA events. Thank you.
I did see a message as well about digital telescopes being helpful during events, or if that is just overkill. I mentioned at the start of the description of what an event might look like. We absolutely welcome your creative flair. So if you want to attach this event to a viewing party afterwards, or some kind of interactive activity as a part of this event that you are spearheading on your own, we welcome that. I think that's a great idea. You can also connect that to other projects like Globe at Night, all about monitoring light pollution. I will say though that during the actual event, we will be doing the actual citizen science project via devices. They'll be online projects, not looking at the night sky or like taking a break to go outside and come back. It is just streamlined to being on a computer. And so for that reason, you can totally do that. Just be sure that you're making the decision on when to have that happen so it doesn't disrupt from the actual agenda.
Mhm.
Okay.
Same with you, Jim, with the planetarium, because there's no specialized equipment needed. That sounds amazing. You'll just want to build in time for anything that's in addition to the actual program, which in and of itself is packed with things. As we know, it takes a while for people to take their seats, an overview. This is even before you zoom in to the event. If you need them to sign media release forms or something, and then we'll spend some time in the first couple minutes of the event, introductions, overview of the project. And really the biggest pain is getting people's accounts signed up. It's a pain, but then once that's done, it's rocking and rolling. Thank you.
All right. So we wanted to close out this call to just give a better deliberate description of what's happening in April and how it connects, just to clear any confusion. To reiterate, Citizen Science Month is every April. And so during April, we aim for a goal. And this year, we are aiming for 2.5 million acts of science to correspond and honor the America 250 activities of 2026. And so you'll notice our lovely Sam bot. We also have a Rosie the Riveter bot, or Rosie the Roboter. And we really love those. So we're excited to use them this year. And as a part of that, we developed a set of events that are live stream events during April called Acts of Science Connected. So those two events in April for Do NASA Science Live, April 2nd and April 29th, those count as both Do NASA Science Live and also Acts of Science Connected for the collective goal of 2.5 million acts of science. So hopefully that clears the air a little bit. If you're curious about what the other events are, here's the other list of topics. So April 2nd, that's our Do NASA Science Live partnership one. It is going to be decided upon very soon. And so we have a general description here, but space science. And then April 12th or 10th, excuse me, which is a Friday, that's all about transcription projects. So unveiling American history. And then April 16th, the next week, so it's every single week is a different event. We'll be playing an online game to help accelerate Alzheimer's research, which is decided on. That one's Stall Catchers, is the project. And then on Earth Day, we'll have one for identifying animals and camera trap images. So it's a good conservation project. And then we'll close out the month with the last of the Do NASA Science Live events as well.
And Emma, if I could just re-emphasize something you said, this Acts of Science Connected, just to confuse all of you more, as Emma mentioned, that is just for Citizen Science Month, weekly events that will take place for all hands on deck. Very, very similar process to what we've just described for the Do NASA Science Live, a virtual event live streamed into libraries where people can do them all together. 2 of those 5 weeks, 2 of those 5 events are Do NASA Science Live events. In other words, we pulled NASA projects to feature for 2 of those events. If you want to apply for the grant, you can do one of those 2 NASA events. And this is where, let's see, who was I emailing with? Sherry, I think. This is where you'll see them multiple times. Event number 1 and event number 5. They may still be too late. Well, 2 to 4. Certainly not the 9 to 11. The other events won't count for the grants because this is just funded through the NASA work. We might have some funds for that, but that'll be a different announcement. Any questions about this? Does this make sense? The two Do NASA Science Live events that are in April, and then there's one in February and there's one in December. Those 4 events, 5 different hosts will have some funding to create the in-person events that live stream what we're going to produce. And we'll give you the training materials, we'll give you the printable takeaways, we'll give you the marketing toolkit, like the posters that you saw that you can, customize so that people sign up the way that you need them to sign up for your event. Information about the project will be sent ahead of time. Any questions? There's a lot.
Feel free to also continue to ask questions after this. We'll be sending you an email that you can just respond directly to with the follow-up as well. Yeah. And our last slide, just to kind of orient ourselves. Oh, I see a question. Never mind.
Yes, Michelle.
Does the marketing kit?
Michelle, yes, just one time slot. They're the exact same event. If you see one on the day like April 2nd. Also, just a little question, Emma, can you update this slide later to include the day of the week? I know some of the librarians.
Oh, yes. I thought it was that screenshot. Yeah, I can get a new one.
We'll have, looking at that example on April 2nd, the afternoon or the evening event. There's 2 events. It's the same exact project. It's live again, so that project scientists and we're all going to be there live for both events. But for your grant, you only need to host an event for one time slot. Marketing materials, I would say they're going to be ready next week. Once we know what the project is, you'll have those ready, Imani.
For social media specific.
Yes, and it will include press release too. They're a little bit different. The ones for December and February will be a little bit different than the press kit and the other materials, promotional kits for April, just because April is so big. There's so much more to say. Like this is part of 2.50 million acts of science in April. Our library, our museum, our coffee shop is part of this. And Desmond, to be eligible for the grants and for these programs, I think you know this already. It has to be one of the programs that we're already producing. So one of the four Do NASA Science Live programs. I think it's great that you're doing additional programs too. And as you know, Emma and I and SciStarter, we have other resources, not necessarily financial, but other ways that we can help. I saw that Jim was posted in comments that he can help you if you're in need of anything for the light pollution expertise or activities to do. But in order to be eligible for one of the grants, it will be very clear when you fill out the application for the grant, you have to pick one of the Do NASA Science Live events. Yeah. Yeah, good point, Kelly.
It will be vastly earlier for the rest of the events because it will be ready. But because we're still picking the projects in the next week, we'll get those out as soon as physically possible.
And we'll help you promote too. Once it's added to our event calendar, so we know like that's happening. We actually we scan those. And so our social media team helps promote those things too. Like check out what, Philadelphia Library is doing on XYZ date. Registration is open.
Sorry, I just wanted to have it up while we're closing out.
Sherry, I think it's a good idea to start the event a little bit early. Bathroom breaks, situate people, maybe need to let them know about parking or things like that. I think that's not a bad idea because once the project scientist comes on, I think they'll tend to get more into the goals and the science behind the project. We are trying to reserve some time in these events to help people get set up with their accounts. But if that's done ahead of time and we're going to have how-tos for each project, that's excellent. Yeah, that's great, Desmond. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. This team, as frustrated as we get with our day-to-day operations, when we have these events and we see these wonderful comments and then just see that whole level of collaboration with you guys, it makes it all worth it. Thank you.
On the screen, if you hadn't noticed the change, just as an FYI, we do have some recommendations for what to do next. So if you haven't taken the trainings yet, we highly recommend you do that. And go ahead and register for December 11th, whether or not you want to host a group or you want to just tune in to get some experience understanding what it looks like, which we recommend for all of you. And then that last bit, apply for funding. You have until January 1st, so plenty of time. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, thank you all for joining. It was great to see so many of you interested too, and to have such a good group. So I look forward to the next time we chat. We'll keep you updated. So making sure that you're registered for the December event especially will help us make sure you get all the right information for facilitators and future facilitators.
And thank you, Roland, all the way from Lebanon, helping us behind the scenes as always. And thank you, everybody. Yes, this presentation will be emailed to you. Everybody who registered, you're going to receive an email from Emma and Roland with links. Just get started. And of course, we'll have contact information there. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Your questions and comments here help us shape the next time we give this talk and proposal. So thank you. All right. Thanks, Emma.
Awesome. All right, I'll go ahead and stop our share and close down our recording, and we'll see you all next time. If I can find the recording button, there it is.